Since the Paris attacks, the question has been, should the U.S. let in more Syrian refugees?
Tonight, a UNL panel answered that question with a resounding yes. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Laura Wilson has more in tonight's top story.
Vanessa, tonight we heard from people from Iraq and Syria who shared firsthand accounts of what ISIS has done to their countries and their families. As the national debate continues over whether Syrian refugees should be let into the U.S., a UNL panel took a slightly different approach to the hot topic.
If you have a problem with ISIS, go treat the problem with ISIS within the borders of Syria. Do not just vent out on those poor refugees who lost everything in life.
UNL doctoral student Rula Jabor says her father, who openly spoke out against ISIS while living in Syria, was one of the lucky ones to make it to the U.S., barely escaping the terrorist group's attempt to capture and publicly behead him. At this point, she says, refugees are fleeing out of necessity, not choice.
We're marginalizing those refugees who are coming to our borders and telling them, you know what, yes, go to ISIS, either join them or get killed by them.
Panelist Abid Qasim says the Syrian crisis is similar to the religious persecution that his family, who are of the Yazidi religion, fled from in Iraq last year.
I don't see these religious minorities as a security threat to anyone. These are actually the people that are being targeted by ISIS and other extremist groups.
The panel discussion, which focused more on personal accounts of terroristic violence, was described by several students as honest, raw, and moving.
I think that was one of the most special things about the program. I know about 6 students that were sitting by me. We all got up and came up here right away to try to see how we could help in some sort of way.
And panelists hope their stories will start a new conversation about the ongoing global crisis.
I think after the Paris attacks, we all focused on how things could harm us instead of thinking about how they could harm others. And I think that's a big takeaway that we need to be focusing on.
Of course, there has been a lot of opposition to this as well, with the majority of U.S. governors, including Pete Ricketts, speaking out against letting Syrian refugees into their states, saying it is an issue of national security.